If you are new here, I would like to tell you that we upload a new English learning video every day on our channel to help you improve your English faster. In today's episode, you will not only improve your English listening skills, but also your English speaking skills. In today's lesson, we're diving into an important topic that will help you improve your English fluency and confidence. Speak like a native English speaker with me. We will go through real-life daily English conversations that will help you understand natural expressions, improve your vocabulary, and develop the speaking patterns that native speakers use every day. Whether you are having a casual conversation, speaking at work, introducing yourself, or expressing your thoughts and opinions, learning how to speak naturally is one of the most important steps toward fluency. By the end of this video, you will understand how to use everyday English in real situations, and I'll share helpful tips and practice exercises to make sure you sound more confident and fluent when you speak. Before we start the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and also press the bell icon if you want more helpful English learning episodes like this. So, grab a pen and paper. Let's get started. When we talk about speaking like a native English speaker, many learners imagine something very complicated. They think native English is fast, difficult, and impossible to understand. But the truth is very different. Native speakers do not use complicated grammar all the time. They use simple structures, but they use them naturally, confidently, and smoothly. That is exactly what we are going to practice together. Today, you are not just listening, you are training your brain to think in English, respond in English, and express yourself clearly in real daily life situations. Let's start with something very simple, but powerful: introducing yourself naturally. Many learners say, "My name is Ahmed. I am 25 years old. I live in Pakistan." This is correct, but it sounds like a textbook. A native speaker would say something more relaxed, something more conversational. For example, "Hey, I'm Ahmed. I'm 25, and I'm from Pakistan. I currently live in Sahiwal." Do you notice the difference? It's not about grammar, it's about tone and flow. Now, I want you to repeat after me, slowly. "Hey, I'm Ahmed. I'm 25, and I'm from Pakistan. I currently live in Sahiwal." Say it again, but this time a little more naturally. Feel the rhythm. Feel the connection between the sentences. Now, let's build it to a slightly more advanced level. A native speaker often adds extra information. For example, "Hey, I'm Ahmed. I'm 25, and I'm from Pakistan. I currently live in Sahiwal, where I work as a graphic designer. In my free time, I enjoy watching football and learning new skills online." Notice how the sentence flows like a story. It's not robotic. It's connected. Now, practice this structure with your own details. Say, "Hey, I'm," and insert your name. Then add your age. Then add where you're from. Then add what you do. Then add something you enjoy. Practice this 3 times. The more you repeat, the more natural it becomes. Now, let's move into daily conversation. Imagine you meet someone and they ask, "How are you?" Many learners answer, "I am fine." That is correct, but native speakers rarely say only that. They might say, "I'm doing pretty good," or "I'm doing well, thanks. How about you?" or "Not too bad, just a little busy today." These responses show personality. They sound alive. Let's practice. Repeat after me. "I'm doing pretty good." Again, "I'm doing pretty good." Now, try. "Not too bad, just a little tired today." Say it naturally. Don't rush. Now, Let's create a short conversation. I'll say one line, and you respond in your mind or out loud. Hey, how's it going? You answer, it's going well, thanks. I've just been working on a few projects. Good. Now, I say, what have you been up to lately? You answer, I've been focusing on improving my English and building my vocabulary. Excellent. This is how you train fluency. You simulate real conversation. Now, let's talk about daily routine. Native speakers love using natural time expressions. Instead of saying, I wake up at 7 a.m., they might say, I usually wake up around 7. Instead of saying, I eat breakfast, they might say, I grab some breakfast before heading to work. Do you hear the difference? Grab some breakfast sounds natural and relaxed. Now, repeat after me. I usually wake up around 7. Again, I usually wake up around 7. Now, I grab some breakfast before heading to work. Practice saying heading to smoothly, not heading to. Say it connected. Heading to. Now, let's build a full daily routine answer. I usually wake up around 7. I grab some breakfast and check my phone for a few minutes. Then I get ready and head to work. My mornings are usually pretty busy, but I try to stay organized. This sounds natural. It sounds confident. Now, pause, and try to say your own routine using this structure. Speak slowly. Don't worry about mistakes. Fluency comes from practice, not perfection. Now, let's move into vocabulary building. If you want to speak like a native speaker, you must learn phrases, not just words. For example, instead of learning the word tired, learn the phrases, I'm exhausted, I'm worn out, I'm drained, and I'm a bit sleepy. Each phrase has a slightly different feeling. Repeat after me. I'm exhausted. Again. I'm exhausted. Now. I'm worn out. Feel the stress on worn. Good. Now, create sentences. I'm exhausted after a long day at work. I'm worn out because I didn't sleep well last night. Practice these sentences aloud. Now, let's talk about expressing opinions. Native speakers often soften their opinions. Instead of saying, this is bad, they say, I'm not a big fan of this. Instead of saying, I don't like it, they might say, it's not really my thing. These expressions sound polite and natural. Repeat after me. It's not really my thing. Again, it's not really my thing. Now, try this. I'm not a big fan of spicy food. Excellent. Now, let's practice a real-life situation. Imagine you are at a cafe. The barista asks, what can I get for you? Instead of saying, give me coffee, a native speaker would say, can I get a medium latte, please? Or, I'll have a cappuccino, please. Notice the polite structure. Can I get? And, I'll have. Now, repeat. Can I get a medium latte, please? Again. Now. I'll have a cappuccino, please. Good. Now. Let's expand this cafe conversation. The barista says, anything else? You respond, that's it for now. Thanks. Or, no, that'll be all. These small expressions make a big difference. Practice saying, that'll be all. Don't say that will be all. Say that'll. Native speakers contract naturally. Now, let's work on advanced fluency building. One key technique is linking words. Native speakers connect words smoothly. For example, instead of saying, I want to go, clearly separated, they say, I want to go. Instead of going to, they say, gonna. But remember, this is mostly for speaking, not formal writing. Repeat after me. I want to improve my English. Again, I want to improve my English. Now, I'm gonna practice every day. Say it naturally. Let's practice a short daily life story. Yesterday was pretty busy. I had a lot on my plate, so I had to stay focused. I wrapped up my work around 6 p.m., grabbed some dinner, and then relaxed at home. Notice the phrase, had a lot on my plate. That means you were very busy. Repeat it. I had a lot on my plate. Good. Now, I want you to create your own short story using these phrases. Start with, yesterday was pretty, and continue. Add at least 3 sentences. Speak it out loud. The more you speak, the more confident you become. Fluency is not about knowing thousands of difficult words. It is about using common words in powerful combinations. For example, instead of very happy, say, really excited. Instead of very angry, say, really upset. Instead of very interesting, say, really fascinating. Practice upgrading simple vocabulary into more expressive vocabulary. Now, let's practice a short workplace conversation. Someone asks, are you free this afternoon? You can say, I'm a bit tied up this afternoon, but I'm available tomorrow. Repeat after me. I'm a bit tied up this afternoon. Good. Now, I'm available tomorrow. Excellent. These are practical, real expressions. Let's continue building your fluency by practicing longer answers. When someone asks, what do you do? Don't answer with one sentence only. Expand your response. For example, I work as a content creator. I focus on educational videos, especially English learning content. I enjoy helping people improve their communication skills. This answer shows confidence and depth. Now, build your own version. The key to speaking like a native speaker is confidence, repetition, and natural exposure. The more you practice full sentences, the more automatic your English becomes. Don't translate in your mind. Think in ideas. Express the idea directly in English. We will continue exploring more daily life conversations, advanced vocabulary upgrades, and natural speaking patterns as we move forward. Stay focused, speak with me, and keep repeating. Your fluency is growing with every sentence you say. Let's continue building your fluency, step by step, moving deeper into real daily life conversations that help you sound natural and confident. Now, imagine you are meeting a friend you haven't seen in a long time. Instead of saying something very basic like, hello, how are you? A native speaker might say, hey, it's been a while. How have you been? That small change immediately makes your English sound more natural. Repeat after me, slowly. Hey, it's been a while. How have you been? Say it again, with energy. Good. Now, imagine your friend replies, I've been good, just busy with work. You can respond naturally by saying, yeah, I know how that feels. Work can get overwhelming sometimes. Notice the phrase, I know how that feels. This shows empathy. Repeat it. I know how that feels. Excellent. Now, try another one. That sounds exciting. Or, that sounds tough. These short reactions make conversations flow smoothly. Let's practice a full short dialogue. I say, what have you been up to lately? You respond, I've been focusing on improving my English and working on personal goals. Good. Now, I say, that's great. Keep it up. You answer, thanks, I really appreciate it. Repeat that sentence. Thanks, I really appreciate it. Feel how natural it sounds. Now, let's move into phone conversations. Many learners feel nervous when speaking on the phone because there are no facial expressions, so you must rely on clear, natural phrases. If someone calls you, you can say, "Hi, this is Emma speaking," or "Hello, Emma here." Repeat after me. "Hi, this is Emma speaking." Again, now. Imagine you didn't catch what the other person said. Instead of saying, "What?" say, "Sorry, could you repeat that?" Or, "I didn't quite catch that." Repeat. "I didn't quite catch that." Very good. Let's practice making an appointment. You call a clinic and say, "Hi, I'd like to schedule an appointment for next week." Repeat that sentence, slowly. "I'd like to schedule an appointment for next week." Now, imagine they ask, "What day works best for you?" You answer, "Do you have anything available on Tuesday afternoon?" Notice how polite and structured that sounds. Practice it again. Now, we're going to upgrade your vocabulary in a natural way. Instead of always saying, "Very important," try "crucial." Instead of "very big," say "massive." Instead of "very small," say "tiny." Let's practice in sentences. It's crucial to practice every day. Repeat. It's crucial to practice every day. Now, there was a massive crowd at the event. Again. There was a massive crowd at the event. Excellent. Now, let's practice expressing emotions more clearly. Instead of saying, "I'm happy," you can say, "I'm thrilled." Instead of "I'm nervous," you can say, "I'm a bit anxious." Instead of "I'm confused," you can say, "I'm not quite sure I understand." Repeat that last sentence. "I'm not quite sure I understand." This is very useful in real conversations. Now, let's imagine you're talking about your weekend. A basic answer would be, "I stayed home," but let's improve it. "I mostly stayed home and caught up on some rest. I watched a few shows and spent some time with my family." Repeat after me. "I mostly stayed home and caught up on some rest." Notice the phrase, "caught up on." That means you did something you needed to do, but didn't have time before. Now, let's practice storytelling. Native speakers often use linking phrases like, "actually," "to be honest," "by the way," and "at the end of the day." For example, "To be honest, I wasn't sure at first, but it turned out to be a great experience." Repeat that, slowly. "To be honest, I wasn't sure at first, but it turned out to be a great experience." This structure is powerful. Let's practice giving advice. Instead of saying, "You should practice," say, "If I were you, I'd practice every day." Repeat. "If I were you, I'd practice every day." Again. Try another one. "If I were you, I'd focus on speaking as much as possible." Now, imagine you are in a workplace discussion. Someone says, "What do you think about this idea?" Instead of saying, "It is good," say, "I think it has a lot of potential." Repeat that sentence. "I think it has a lot of potential." Good. Now, try this. "I see your point, but I have a slightly different perspective." This is how native speakers disagree politely. Let's move into daily shopping conversations. If you're in a store and you need help, you can say, "Excuse me, do you have this in a different size?" Repeat. "Do you have this in a different size?" Or, "I'm just looking, thanks." That's a common response when a salesperson offers help. Now, we are going to practice fluency through repetition. I will say a natural sentence. You repeat it. "I've been meaning to call you." Again. "I've been meaning to call you." This means you wanted to call, but didn't have time. Now, another one. It slipped my mind. Repeat. It slipped my mind. That means you forgot something. Let's build a short story using these phrases. I've been meaning to call you, but it completely slipped me mind. Things have been pretty hectic lately. Repeat that whole exercise, slowly with me. Feel the rhythm and the connected speech. Now, let's talk about confidence. In speaking, one important skill is using filler words naturally. Native speakers often say, well, you know, I mean, or actually. These are not mistakes. They make speech sound natural. For example, well, I think it's a good idea. Repeat. Well, I think it's a good idea. Now, actually, I was thinking the same thing. Good. Let's practice responding to compliments. Someone says, your English is really good. Instead of saying only, thank you can say, thanks. I've been practicing a lot. Repeat that. Thanks. I've been practicing a lot. This keeps the conversation flowing. Now, imagine you are talking about future plans. Instead of, I will travel, say, I'm planning to travel next year. Or, I'm thinking about starting a new project. Repeat. I'm thinking about starting a new project. Notice how smooth that sounds. Let's practice a longer daily life conversation together. I'll guide it. How was your day? You answer. It was pretty productive. I managed to finish most of my tasks and even had time to relax in the evening. Good. Now, I say. That sounds great. What did you do to relax? You answer. I watched a movie and spent some time reading. Excellent. This is natural conversation building. Now, let's challenge you with a more advanced storytelling structure. At first, I wasn't sure if I could handle the situation, but after taking a deep breath and thinking it through, I realized it wasn't as difficult as I thought. Repeat that sentence slowly. This kind of structure makes you sound fluent and thoughtful. Remember, becoming fluent is about training your mouth and brain to work together. You must speak out loud. Listening is important, but speaking is what builds confidence. Every sentence you repeat strengthens your fluency. Let's continue with a fluency exercise. Speak for 1 full minute about your goals in English. Use these structures. I'm currently working on. I've been trying to. My main goal is to. In the long run, I'd like to. Practice forming a full exercise using these phrases. Don't stop. Keep. Just speaking. Even if you make small mistakes, you are building real and practical English skills. You are moving from basic responses to expressive, confident communication. Keep going with me. Now, let's continue building your ability to speak naturally by focusing on conversations that happen almost every single day. One of the most common situations is small talk. Small talk may seem unimportant, but it is actually one of the strongest signs of fluency. Native speakers use small talk to connect, to build relationships, and to make conversations comfortable. If someone says, "Nice weather today, isn't it?" you don't just say, "Yes." You expand slightly. You say, "Yeah, it's beautiful today. It's much better than yesterday." Repeat that sentence slowly. Yeah, it's beautiful today. It's much better than yesterday. Notice how natural it sounds. Now, imagine someone says, "Have you been busy lately?" Instead of answering, "Yes, I am busy." Try something more conversational. Say, Yeah, I've had a pretty packed schedule lately, but I'm managing. Repeat after me. I've had a pretty packed schedule lately, but I'm managing. The phrase, packed schedule, is more advanced than simply saying, busy. Practice that phrase again. Packed schedule. Good. Let's practice talking about hobbies in a more expressive way. Instead of saying, I like music, you can say, I'm really into music these days. Repeat that. I'm really into music these days. Now. Or try this. I've recently gotten into reading self-development books. Repeat slowly. I've recently gotten into reading self-development books. These phrases make you sound more like a native speaker because they focus on expression, not just grammar. Now, let's practice expressing preferences. If someone asks, do you prefer coffee or tea? You can respond in a complete and natural way. For example, I usually go for coffee in the morning, but in the evening, I prefer tea. Repeat that entire sentence. I usually go for coffee in the morning, but in the evening, I prefer tea. Notice the phrase, go for. That is very natural. Let's move into a slightly more advanced conversation. Imagine you are discussing a movie. Instead of saying, the movie was good, try, the movie was surprisingly good. I didn't expect to enjoy it that much. Repeat that. The movie was surprisingly good. I didn't expect to enjoy it that much. This shows emotional reaction, which is important for sounding fluent. Now, let's practice reacting naturally. If someone tells you exciting news, you can say, no way, that's amazing. Repeat, no way, that's amazing. If someone tells you something disappointing, you can say, oh no, that's unfortunate. Repeat that. Oh no, that's unfortunate. These emotional reactions make conversations feel real. Let's talk about handling misunderstandings. If you disagree politely, you might say, I see what you mean, but I'm not entirely convinced. Repeat that slowly. I see what you mean, but I'm not entirely convinced. That phrase is powerful. It shows respect, while expressing a different opinion. Now, we will practice describing experiences. Instead of saying, I went to a restaurant, say, I tried out a new restaurant downtown last weekend. Repeat, I tried out a new restaurant downtown last weekend. Notice the phrase, tried out. That is very natural. Now, expand it. I tried out a new restaurant downtown last weekend, and the food was absolutely delicious. Practice that full sentence. Let's build your ability to speak about problems in a mature way. Instead of saying, I have a problem, say, I've been dealing with a bit of an issue lately. Repeat that. I've been dealing with a bit of an issue lately. It sounds calmer and more natural. Now, add detail. I've been dealing with a bit of an issue lately, but I'm trying to stay positive. Good. Now, let's practice workplace communication again. If your colleague asks for help, you might say, sure, I'd be happy to help. Repeat. Sure, I'd be happy to help. If you are too busy, you can say, I'd love to help, but I'm tied up at the moment. Repeat that. I'm tied up at the moment. These phrases are practical and polite. Now, we are going to strengthen your storytelling skills even more. Native speakers often use sequences like, first of all, after that, in the end, and overall. For example, first of all, I wasn't sure if I wanted to join the event. After that, I decided to give it a try. In the end, I was really glad I did. Repeat that whole sequence, slowly. This structure gives your speech organization and clarity. Let's practice talking about goals with more depth. Instead of saying, I want to improve my English, say, my main focus right now is improving my English communication skills. Repeat that. My main focus right now is improving my English communication skills. Now, expand it. I'm especially working on building my vocabulary and speaking more confidently. Excellent. Now, let's practice a more advanced fluency exercise together. Listen carefully, then repeat it in smaller parts. Over the past few months, I've been pushing myself to step outside my comfort zone. At first, it felt uncomfortable, but gradually, I started noticing real improvement. Repeat the first sentence. Now. See, repeat the second sentence. Feel the rhythm. Now, we will work on natural transitions in conversation. If you want to change the topic, you can say, by the way, have you heard about? Repeat that. By the way, have you heard about? Or you can say, speaking of that, it reminds me of. Repeat. Speaking of that, it reminds me of. These transitions make you sound fluent because you can guide the conversation. Let's practice describing feelings in more detail. Instead of saying, I'm scared, you can say, I was a little nervous at first, but I eventually relaxed. Repeat that sentence. Now. Try. I felt a sense of relief after finishing my work. Repeat. I felt a sense of relief after finishing my work. These expressions are powerful. Now. So imagine you are explaining a decision. Instead of saying, I changed my mind, say, I gave it some thought and decided to take a different approach. Repeat that slowly. I gave it some thought and decided to take a different approach. That sounds mature and fluent. Let's do a longer conversation practice. I ask, why did you start learning English? You answer, I started learning English because I wanted to expand my opportunities and communicate with people from different backgrounds. Over time, I realized how important it is in both personal and professional life. Practice saying that full response. Now, so let's focus on speed control. Native speakers do not always speak fast. They change speed depending on importance. When something is important, they slow down. When something is less important, they speed up slightly. Practice saying this sentence, first slowly, then naturally. Improving your English takes time, patience, and consistent effort. Say it slowly, now. Say it naturally. Let's practice confidence-building phrases. Repeat after me. I'm confident I can handle this. Again. I'm confident I can handle this. Now. Try. I'm making steady progress. Repeat that. These phrases are important, not only for English, but also for mindset. Now, we are going to combine vocabulary and fluency in one longer practice exercise. Recently, I've been dedicating more time to self-improvement. I've been reading regularly, practicing my speaking skills, and challenging myself to think in English. Although it hasn't always been easy, I can definitely see progress. Repeat that exercise slowly with me for 2 to 3 times. The more you practice full exercises like this, the more automatic your English becomes. You move from basic sentences to connected thoughts. That is the key difference between beginner and advanced speakers. Take a moment now and speak for 1 minute about your daily routine. But this time, use at least 3 new phrases from today's lesson. Use expressions like packed schedule, I've been dealing with, I'm really into, I gave it some thought, or overall. Don't stop speaking. Keep your ideas flowing. You are not just learning English, you are training yourself to communicate clearly, confidently, and naturally in daily life situations. Every repetition strengthens your fluency. Now, let's continue strengthening your ability to think and respond naturally in English by focusing on real conversations that require quick thinking. One of the biggest differences between a basic speaker and a fluent speaker is reaction time. Fluent speakers don't pause for a long time to translate. They respond smoothly because they have practiced common sentence patterns. That is what we are building together, right now. Imagine someone asks you, "What do you usually do after work?" A basic answer might be, "I go home and eat dinner." That is correct, but we can expand it. To sound more natural, try this instead. After work, I usually head straight home, unwind for a bit, and then have dinner. Repeat that, slowly. After work, I usually head straight home, unwind for a bit, and then have dinner. Notice the phrase, unwind for a bit. That means to relax. Repeat that phrase again. Unwind for a bit. Excellent. Now, let's take that answer one step further. After work, I usually head straight home, unwind for a bit, and then have dinner. Sometimes I catch up on my favorite shows or scroll through social media before going to bed. Repeat that full exercise slowly with me. The more you practice connected ideas, the more fluent you become. Let's move into conversations about plans. If someone asks, "Do you have any plans for the weekend?" Instead of saying, "Yes, hi, I will stay home." Try something more natural. "I don't have anything major planned, but I might hang out with some friends, or just take it easy." Repeat that. "I don't have anything major planned, but I might hang out with some friends, or just take it easy." Notice the phrases, hang out, and take it easy. These are very common in everyday English. Now, imagine you are asked about your long-term goals. Instead of saying, "I want success," try saying, "In the long run, I'd like to build a stable career and continue growing, personally and professionally." Repeat that, slowly. In the long run, I'd like to build a stable career and continue growing, personally and professionally. This sounds thoughtful and mature. Now let's practice expressing uncertainty. Sometimes, you don't know the answer immediately. Instead of staying silent, you can say, "That's a good question. Let me think for a second." Repeat, "That's a good question. Let me think for a second." This gives you time and sounds natural. Another useful phrase is, "I'm not entirely sure, but I think." Repeat that. These filler structures help you maintain fluency, even when you're unsure. Let's practice describing challenges. Instead of saying, "It was difficult," try, "It was more challenging than I expected." Repeat that sentence. It was more challenging than I expected. Now, expand it. It was more challenging than I expected. But I learned a lot from the experience. Good. That shows growth and reflection. Now, sirs, let's build your ability to speak about achievements. Instead of saying, "I finished my project," try, "I finally wrapped up my project, and I'm really proud of how it turned out." Repeat that, slowly. "I finally wrapped up my project, and I'm really proud of how it turned out. The phrase, how it turned out, is very natural. Let's move into conversations about health and lifestyle. If someone asks, have you been exercising? Instead of answering simply, yes, say, I've been trying to stay active by going for walks in the evening. Repeat that sentence. I've been trying to stay active by going for walks in the evening. Now, expand it. It helps me clear my mind and reduce stress. Repeat that addition. Now, we will practice describing past experiences in a more detailed way. Instead of saying, I traveled last year, say, last year, I had the chance to travel to another city, and it was an unforgettable experience. Repeat that sentence, slowly. Feel the rhythm. It was an unforgettable experience. Good. Let's work on improving your conversational confidence. If someone interrupts you or disagrees, instead of becoming nervous, you can say, I understand your point, and I respect that. Repeat. I understand your point, and I respect that. This keeps the conversation calm and respectful. Now, we are going to practice giving explanations. Instead of saying, because I like it, try, the reason I enjoy it is that it allows me to relax and focus. Repeat that. The reason I enjoy it is that it allows me to relax and focus. This structure immediately makes your English sound more advanced. Let's practice describing a typical busy day in more detail. Listen carefully, then repeat with me. Today was quite productive. I managed to complete most of my tasks, attend a meeting, and even set aside some time for learning. Although I felt a bit overwhelmed at one point, I stayed focused and got through it. Repeat that in 2 or 3 parts. Notice how the ideas connect. Naturally, now, let's improve your ability to respond in social situations. If someone says, sorry I'm late, you can say, no worries, it happens. Repeat that. No worries, it happens. Or, it's all good. Repeat that as well. These casual responses make you sound relaxed and fluent. Let's practice talking about learning English specifically. Instead of saying, English is important, say, English plays a crucial role in global communication. Repeat that. English plays a crucial role in global communication. Now, expand it. It opens up opportunities for career growth and cultural exchange. Repeat that full structure, now. We will focus on improving your ability to compare things. Instead of saying, this is better, try. This option seems more practical and efficient. Repeat that sentence. This option seems more practical and efficient. Comparisons are important. For advanced speaking, let's practice describing feelings about progress. Instead of saying, I improved, say, I've noticed a significant improvement in my confidence. Repeat that, slowly. I've noticed a significant improvement in my confidence. This shows awareness and growth. Now, we are going to build a longer connected fluency exercise. Listen carefully. Over time, I've realized that consistency is the key to improvement. Even small efforts, when repeated daily, can lead to noticeable progress. At first, I doubted myself, but gradually, I became more confident in my abilities. Repeat that slowly, with me. Let's practice handling unexpected questions. If someone asks you something surprising, you can say, that's an interesting question. I haven't really thought about it before. Repeat that sentence. It gives you time and keeps you sounding fluent Now imagine you are explaining why you are motivated. Instead of saying, I want to be better, try, I'm driven by the desire to become the best version of myself. Repeat that, slowly. I'm driven by the desire to become the best version of myself. Feel the power of that sentence. Let's continue with a practical speaking exercise. I want you to speak for 1 minute about a recent experience. Use these phrases naturally. I had the chance to. It turned out to be. At first. In the end. And. Overall. Connect your ideas smoothly. Don't worry about small mistakes. Focus on flow. Remember, fluency is built through repetition, exposure, and confidence. The more you practice full, connected sentences, the more natural your English becomes. Keep speaking out loud. Keep challenging yourself. You are moving steadily from basic, English toward advanced, expressive communication. Now, let's go even deeper into real-life English by focusing on conversations that require description, detail, and emotional expression. One thing that makes native speakers sound natural is their ability to describe things clearly and vividly. Instead of saying something simple like, the place was nice, a native speaker might say, the place had a really cozy atmosphere, and the staff were incredibly welcoming. Repeat that sentence slowly. The place had a really cozy atmosphere, and the staff were incredibly welcoming. Notice the words cozy and welcoming. These words add feeling and personality. Now, let's practice describing a person. Instead of saying, he is good, try something more specific. He's very reliable and easy to work with. Repeat that. He's very reliable and easy to work with. Or instead of saying, she is smart, you can say, she's incredibly knowledgeable and quick to understand new concepts. Repeat that sentence. This kind of vocabulary builds your advanced level naturally. Let's move into describing daily experiences in more detail. Imagine you are talking about your morning. Instead of saying, I woke up late, say, I accidentally overslept and had to rush to get ready. Repeat that slowly. I accidentally overslept and had to rush to get ready. The phrase, had to rush, is very common in daily English. Now, expand it. I accidentally overslept and had to rush to get ready, so I skipped breakfast and left the house in a hurry. Practice that full sentence. Now, we are going to practice problem-solving language. Instead of saying, there was a problem, try. We ran into a small issue, but we managed to sort it out. Repeat that sentence. We ran into a small issue, but we managed to sort it out. The phrases ran into and sorted out are very natural. Practice saying sorted out smoothly. Let's strengthen your ability to explain reasons clearly. Instead of saying, because I was tired, try, the reason I left early was that I was feeling exhausted. Repeat that. The reason I left early was that I was feeling exhausted. Now, try another one. The main reason I started learning English was to improve my career opportunities. Repeat that slowly. Now let's practice talking about improvement and growth. Instead of saying, I am better now, say, I've come a long way compared to where I started. Repeat that sentence. I've come a long way compared to where I started. That phrase is very powerful. Now, expand it. I've come a long way compared to where I started, and I'm proud of the progress I've made. Excellent. Let's move into describing feelings in a more mature way. Instead of saying, I was nervous, say, I felt a bit uneasy at first, but I gradually gained confidence. Repeat that slowly. Notice how the sentence has two parts. This kind of structure shows development in your thinking. Now, imagine you are sharing an opinion in a discussion. Instead of saying, I think it's good, try, from my perspective, it's a step in the right direction. Repeat that sentence. From my perspective, it's a step in the right direction. Now, practice another one. In my opinion, there's definitely room for improvement. Repeat that. These phrases make your English sound professional. Let's work on natural storytelling again. Listen carefully. Last week, I decided to try something new. At first, I was hesitant because I wasn't sure how it would turn out. However, once I got started, I realized it wasn't as intimidating as I had imagined. Repeat that exercise slowly with me. Notice the words hesitant and intimidating. They are strong vocabulary upgrades. Now, let's practice reacting to situations politely. If someone apologizes to you, instead of only saying, it's okay, you can say, no problem at all. While I completely understand. Repeat that sentence. No problem at all. I completely understand. This sounds natural and kind. Let's build your ability to ask follow-up questions, which is very important in conversations. If someone says, I got a new job, don't just say, congratulations. Add a follow-up question like, that's great. What kind of position is it? Repeat that. What kind of position is it? Follow-up questions keep conversations alive. Now, we will practice talking about achievements in detail. Instead of saying, I passed the exam, try, I'm relieved to say that I passed the exam after weeks of preparation. Repeat that sentence slowly. I'm relieved to say that I passed the exam after weeks of preparation. The phrase after weeks of preparation adds depth. Let's move into advanced daily life conversation practice. Imagine you're explaining your schedule. Instead of saying, I'm busy, say, my schedule has been pretty hectic lately, but I'm doing my best to stay organized. Repeat that sentence. Now, expand it. I've been prioritizing my tasks and setting realistic goals. Repeat that addition. Now, we are going to focus on expressing contrast in a more natural way. Instead of saying, but, you can say, on the other hand, or at the same time. For example, I enjoy working independently. On the other hand, I also value teamwork. Repeat that sentence. This helps you connect ideas smoothly. Let's practice describing a memorable day. Listen carefully. It was one of those days that started off stressful, but ended on a positive note. Although I faced a few unexpected challenges, I managed to stay calm and handle everything effectively. Repeat that exercise, slowly with me. Feel the emotional flow. Now, let's build fluency with quick reaction phrases. Repeat after me. That makes sense. Again. That makes sense. Now. I see what you're saying. Repeat that. These phrases are used constantly in daily English conversations. Let's practice talking about personal development in a more advanced way. Instead of saying, I want to grow, say, I'm constantly looking for ways to improve myself and expand my skill set. Repeat that sentence. Notice the phrase, expand my skill set. That sounds professional and fluent. Now, we will combine several expressions into one longer speaking exercise. Over the past year, I've been focusing on self-growth. I've stepped outside my comfort zone, taken on new challenges, and learned valuable lessons along the way. Although the journey hasn't always been easy, it has definitely been worthwhile. Repeat that full exercise with me. Let's practice explaining a change in mindset. Instead of saying, I changed, say, over time, I shifted my perspective and started seeing things differently. Repeat that sentence slowly. This shows emotional maturity and advanced structure. Now, we are going to strengthen your ability to summarize experiences. Instead of saying, it was good, say, overall, it was a rewarding experience that taught me a lot. Repeat that sentence. The word overall is very useful when concluding a story. Take a moment now to speak for 1 minute about a recent challenge you faced. Use phrases like, at first, the main reason was, on the other hand, in the end, and overall. Connect your ideas smoothly. Speak clearly and confidently. Every time you practice full connected thoughts like this, you are moving closer to speaking like a native English speaker. Fluency is not magic. It is the result of repeated exposure, practice, and confidence. Keep pushing yourself. Keep speaking out loud, now. Let's continue building your fluency by focusing on one of the most powerful skills in English communication, which is the ability to keep a conversation going naturally without running out of things to say. Many learners stop speaking because they feel they have nothing more to add. Native speakers, however, know how to extend their answers. Instead of giving short responses, they expand, explain, and connect ideas. Imagine someone asks you, how was your day? A short answer would be, it was good. But a more fluent answer would sound like this. It was actually pretty productive. I managed to finish most of my tasks, and I even had some time to relax in the evening. Repeat that sentence slowly. It was actually pretty productive. I managed to finish most of my tasks, and I even had some time to relax in the evening. Notice how it gives more detail and sounds complete. Now, let's practice expanding answers. If someone asks, do you like your job? Instead of saying, yes, I like it. Try this. Yeah, I do. It keeps me busy, and I enjoy the challenges that come with it. Repeat that. It keeps me busy, and I enjoy the challenges that come with it. The phrase that come with it is very natural and commonly used. Let's move into talking about responsibilities. Instead of saying, why, I have a lot of work. Try saying, I've been juggling multiple responsibilities lately. Repeat that sentence. I've been juggling multiple responsibilities lately. The word juggling here doesn't mean playing with balls in the air. It means managing many tasks at once. Practice saying it again. Now, let's strengthen your ability to describe personal habits. Instead of saying, I practice English every day, say, I make it a habit to practice English every single day, even if it's just for a few minutes. Repeat that sentence slowly. I make it a habit to practice English every single day. That structure sounds strong and determined. Let's practice expressing surprise naturally. If someone tells you unexpected news, instead of saying, really, you can say, you're kidding. Repeat that. You're kidding. Or you can say, that's unbelievable. Repeat that sentence. These reactions add personality to your speech. Now, let's talk about giving encouragement. Instead of saying, you can do it, try, I'm sure you've got what it takes. Repeat that sentence slowly. I'm sure you've got what it takes. That phrase sounds motivating and natural. Let's practice discussing past regrets in a mature way. Instead of saying, I regret it, try, looking back, I wish I had handled things differently. Repeat that sentence. Looking back, I wish I had handled things differently. This structure uses advanced grammar and sounds very fluent. Now, imagine you are talking about learning from mistakes. Instead of saying, I learned, try. I learned a valuable lesson from that experience. Repeat that sentence. I learned a valuable lesson from that experience. The word valuable makes it more expressive. Let's build your ability to describe time and progress. Instead of saying, it took long, say, it took quite a while, but it was worth the effort. Repeat that slowly. It took quite a while, but it was worth the effort. This is a very useful sentence for storytelling. Now, we are going to practice giving examples naturally. Instead of saying, for example, every time. Try. For instance. Repeat that. For instance. Now. Use it in a sentence. There are many ways to improve your English. For instance, you can practice speaking every day. Repeat that full sentence. Let's focus on expressing possibility. Instead of saying, maybe. Try. There's a chance that. Repeat that phrase. There's a chance that. Now, create a sentence. There's a chance that I might travel next year. Good. Now, let's practice describing improvement over time in a connected exercise. Listen carefully. When I first started learning English, I struggled with pronunciation and confidence. However, over time, I gradually became more comfortable speaking. Now, I can express myself much more clearly than before. Repeat that exercise slowly with me. Notice the transition words, however, and over time. Let's work on speaking about routines with more depth. Instead of saying, I wake up early, try. I've gotten used to waking up early because it helps me stay productive throughout the day. Repeat that sentence slowly. The phrase I've gotten used to is extremely common in natural English. Now, let's practice handling compliments in a more advanced way. If someone says, you speak English really well, instead of just saying, thank you, you can say, thank you. I've been putting in a lot of effort lately. Repeat that sentence. It sounds humble and confident at the same time. Let's build your ability to discuss opinions thoughtfully. Instead of saying, I don't agree, try. I'm not sure I completely agree with that point. Repeat that slowly. I'm not sure I completely agree with that point. It sounds softer and more natural. Now, we are going to practice describing plans that changed. Instead of saying, I changed my plan. Try. I ended up changing my plans at the last minute. Repeat that sentence. I ended up changing my plans at the last minute. The phrase ended up is very important for natural speech. Let's practice describing effort and dedication. Instead of saying, I worked hard, say, I put a lot of effort into improving my skills. Repeat that slowly. I put a lot of effort into improving my skills. That phrase sounds professional. Now, we will practice a longer fluency exercise together. These days, I've been trying to maintain a healthy balance between work and personal life. It's not always easy, especially when responsibilities start piling up. However, I've learned that staying organized and setting clear priorities makes a huge difference. Repeat that exercise slowly with me. Feel the flow between sentences. Let's practice talking about making decisions carefully. Instead of saying, I decided quickly, try. After weighing my options, I decided to move forward with the plan. Repeat that sentence slowly. After weighing my options, I decided to move forward with the plan. The phrase, weighing my options, is advanced and very natural. Now, imagine someone asks you about your strengths. Instead of saying, I am good at communication, say, One of my strengths is my ability to communicate clearly and effectively. Repeat that sentence. This sounds confident and structured. Take a moment now and speak for 1 minute about your biggest goal right now. Use phrases like, I've been focusing on, it hasn't been easy, but, over time, in the long run, and, I'm confident that. Connect your ideas smoothly without stopping. Remember, sounding like a native speaker is not about perfection. It is about natural rhythm, expressive vocabulary, and connected thoughts. Keep practicing out loud. Keep building your confidence. With every sentence, you are becoming more fluent. Now, let's continue strengthening your natural speaking ability by focusing on one of the most important elements of fluency, which is sounding spontaneous. Native speakers don't sound rehearsed. They sound natural because they know how to think in chunks, not single words. So instead of building sentences word by word, they use ready-made phrases that flow smoothly. That's exactly what we're going to practice now. Imagine someone asks you, "What's been on your mind lately?" Instead of saying, "I think about work," try something more expressive. Say, "I've been thinking a lot about my future and the direction I want to take in life." Repeat that sentence slowly. I've been thinking a lot about my future and the direction I want to take in life. Notice how that sounds complete and thoughtful. Now, let's practice describing a busy week in a more detailed way. Instead of saying, "I was busy," say, "It's been one of those weeks where everything feels nonstop." Repeat that sentence. It's been one of those weeks where everything feels nonstop. That phrase is very natural. Now, expand it. I barely had time to catch my breath. Repeat that slowly. I barely had time to catch my breath. This expression means you were extremely busy. Let's work on describing improvements clearly. Instead of saying, "I improved my English," try, "I've noticed that my English has become much more natural over time." Repeat that sentence. I've noticed that my English has become much more natural over time. That phrase "over time" is very common in fluent speech. Now, let's practice expressing gratitude in a more advanced way. Instead of simply saying, "Thank you for helping me," say, "I really appreciate you taking the time to help me out." Repeat that slowly. I really appreciate you taking the time to help me out. The phrase "help me out" is informal and very natural. Let's move into describing unexpected situations. Instead of saying, "It was surprising," try, "It completely caught me off guard." Repeat that phrase slowly. It completely caught me off guard. This is a powerful native expression. Now, build a sentence. The news completely caught me off guard. Excellent. Now, we will practice speaking about motivation. Instead of saying, "I want to improve," try, "I'm determined to take my English skills to the next level." Repeat that sentence. I'm determined to take my English skills to the next level. The phrase "take to the next level" is very common and sounds confident. Let's strengthen your ability to explain delays or problems politely. Instead of saying, "I'm late," try, "Sorry for the delay. Something unexpected came up." Repeat that sentence. Sorry for the delay. Something unexpected came up. That phrase is extremely useful in daily communication. Now, imagine you are explaining why you enjoy something. Instead of saying, "I like it because it's fun," say, "What I enjoy most about it is the sense of satisfaction it gives me." Repeat that slowly. What I enjoy most about it is the sense of satisfaction it gives me. This structure sounds advanced and clear. Let's practice talking about decision-making in a more confident way. Instead of saying, "I decided to try," Try. I figured it was worth giving it a shot. Repeat that sentence. I figured it was worth giving it a shot. The phrase give it a shot means to try something. Practice it again. Now, let's focus on describing progress in life. Instead of saying, I changed a lot, say, I've grown significantly both personally and professionally. Repeat that sentence slowly. I've grown significantly both personally and professionally. That sounds strong and mature. Let's move into social conversations. If someone asks, what do you do in your free time? Instead of giving a short answer, say, whenever I have some free time, I like to unwind by reading, watching documentaries, or spending time outdoors. Repeat that sentence. Notice the phrase, whenever I have some free time. It sounds very natural. Now, let's practice handling criticism politely. Instead of saying, you're wrong, try, I think there might be another way to look at this. Repeat that sentence slowly. I think there might be another way to look at this. This sounds respectful and fluent. Let's practice telling a short personal story using advanced connectors. Listen carefully. A few months ago, I decided to challenge myself by speaking English every single day. At first, it felt uncomfortable and awkward. However, as time went by, I started gaining confidence and speaking more naturally. Repeat that exercise slowly with me. Notice the transition phrase as time went by. Now, let's build emotional depth in your speech. Instead of saying, I was happy, say, I felt a deep sense of accomplishment. Repeat that slowly. I felt a deep sense of accomplishment. Now, try another one. Instead of, I was sad, say, I felt somewhat disappointed, but I didn't let it stop me. Repeat that sentence. Let's work on describing situations calmly. Instead of saying, it was hard, say, it was quite demanding, but manageable. Repeat that phrase. Quite demanding, but manageable. This structure is very useful in professional conversations. Now, see, we are going to practice a longer connected speaking exercise. There was a time when I doubted my ability to speak English fluently. I hesitated before speaking, worried about making mistakes. But eventually, I realized that mistakes are part of the learning process. Once I accepted that, everything started to improve. Repeat that exercise slowly with me. Feel the natural rhythm. Let's strengthen your ability to express future ambition. Instead of saying, I want to succeed, say, my ultimate goal is to achieve long-term success and stability. Repeat that slowly. My ultimate goal is to achieve long-term success and stability. The word ultimate adds strength. Now, let's practice reacting naturally in casual conversations. Repeat after me. That sounds like a plan. Again. That sounds like a plan. Now, try. I couldn't agree more. Repeat that sentence. These are very common native responses. Let's build another fluency exercise together. Lately, I've been making a conscious effort to improve my communication skills. I've started speaking more confidently, even when I'm not completely sure about every word. Over time, I've realized that confidence plays a huge role in fluency. Repeat that exercise slowly with me. Now, take a full minute to speak about your journey of learning English. Use phrases like at first, over time. What really helped me was, I realized that, and now, I feel. Speak continuously. Keep your ideas flowing naturally. You are training your brain to think in English without translating. That is the key to sounding like a native speaker. Keep building sentences in chunks. Keep speaking in full thoughts. Your fluency is becoming stronger with every practice. Now, let's continue building deeper fluency by focusing on something that truly separates intermediate speakers from advanced speakers, and that is the ability to elaborate naturally. Many learners answer questions correctly, but their answers feel short or unfinished. Native speakers almost always add context, explanation, or feeling. That extra layer is what makes speech sound alive. Imagine someone asks you, "What motivates you?" A basic answer might be, "Success motivates me." That is correct, but it sounds incomplete. A more natural and fluent response would be, "What really motivates me is the desire to improve myself and create better opportunities for my future." Repeat that slowly. What really motivates me is the desire to improve myself and create better opportunities for my future. Notice how the structure feels balanced and expressive. Now, let's practice adding detail to simple statements. Instead of saying, "I enjoy learning English," try, "I genuinely enjoy learning English because it allows me to connect with people from different cultures." Repeat that sentence. "I genuinely enjoy learning English because it allows me to connect with people from different cultures." The word genuinely adds depth and sincerity. Let's move into describing daily frustrations in a mature way. Instead of saying traffic was bad, try, "The traffic was unusually heavy this morning, which made me run a bit late." Repeat that sentence slowly. "The traffic was unusually heavy this morning, which made me run a bit late." The word unusually upgrades your vocabulary instantly. Now, let's practice describing feelings about challenges. Instead of saying, "I was scared," try, "I felt slightly intimidated at first, but I pushed myself to move forward." Repeat that. "I felt slightly intimidated at first, but I pushed myself to move forward." This structure shows growth and determination. Let's build your confidence in talking about achievements in a more detailed way. Instead of saying, "I achieved my goal," say, "After months of consistent effort, I finally achieved the goal I had set for myself." Repeat that slowly. "After months of consistent effort, I finally achieved the goal I had set for myself." The phrase consistent effort is very powerful. Now, imagine you are describing your personality. Instead of saying, "I am friendly," try, "I describe myself as approachable and open-minded." Repeat that sentence. "I describe myself as approachable and open-minded." That structure sounds polished and confident. Let's practice responding to invitations naturally. If someone says, "Would you like to join us?" Instead of just saying, "Yes," try, "That sounds great. I'd love to join." Repeat that. "That sounds great. I'd love to join." If you can't go, say, "I'd love to, but I already have plans." Repeat that sentence slowly. Now, let's strengthen your storytelling skills again. Listen carefully. Earlier this year, I decided to step out of my comfort zone and try something new. I wasn't sure how it would go, but I knew it was important for my personal growth. Looking back, I'm glad I took that risk. Repeat that exercise slowly with me. Feel the smooth transitions between ideas. Let's work on expressing agreement and disagreement more naturally. Instead of saying, "Yes, that's right," try, "I completely agree with you on that." Repeat that slowly. "I completely agree with you on that." Now, try disagreement politely. "I see where you're coming from, but I have a slightly different opinion." Repeat that sentence. Now, We are going to practice expressing uncertainty in a calm and fluent way. Instead of saying, I don't know, try. I'm not entirely certain, but I think it might work. Repeat that sentence slowly. This structure gives you time and keeps you sounding confident. Let's move into talking about habits and routines with more sophistication. Instead of saying, I wake up early to work, try. I make it a priority to start my day early so I can stay ahead of my tasks. Repeat that sentence. I make it a priority to start my day early. The phrase, make it a priority, is very useful in professional conversations. Now, let's practice describing improvement over time in more depth. When I first started practicing speaking, I struggled to form complete sentences. However, with regular practice and patience, I gradually built my confidence. Repeat that exercise slowly with me. Notice how, however, connects the contrast smoothly. Let's strengthen your ability to give explanations clearly. Instead of saying, I did it because I wanted to, try. So, the main reason I decided to do it was to challenge myself and learn something new. Repeat that sentence slowly. The main reason I decided to do it was to challenge myself and learn something new. Now, imagine you are talking about your career goals. Instead of saying, I want a good job, say, my goal is to build a stable career that allows me to grow continuously. Repeat that sentence. The word continuously adds professionalism. Let's practice describing emotional reactions more naturally. Instead of saying, I was shocked, try, I was honestly taken aback by the news. Repeat that slowly. I was honestly taken aback by the news. That phrase sounds very native. Now, we are going to practice a longer fluency exercise. Over the past few years, I've come to realize that progress doesn't happen overnight. It requires patience, discipline, and consistent effort. Although there are days when motivation feels low, staying committed makes all the difference. Repeat that exercise slowly with me. Feel how each sentence connects logically. Let's work on giving compliments in a more expressive way. Instead of saying, good job, try, you did an outstanding job on that project. Repeat that sentence. You did an outstanding job on that project. The word outstanding sounds strong and positive. Now, let's practice talking about setbacks maturely. Instead of saying, I failed, try, I didn't succeed the first time, but I learned from the experience. Repeat that sentence slowly. That shows resilience and growth. Let's build one more connected speaking exercise together. There have been moments when I doubted my progress, especially when results seemed slow. However, I reminded myself that improvement takes time. By staying consistent and focused, I began to see meaningful change. Repeat with me. Take a full minute now to speak about a personal achievement. Use phrases like, at first. The main reason was, I pushed myself to, looking back, and overall. Connect your ideas smoothly and confidently. You are not just memorizing phrases. You are training yourself to think in patterns that native speakers use every day. Keep practicing aloud. Keep connecting ideas naturally. Your English is becoming clearer, stronger, and more expressive. Now, let's continue developing your advanced fluency by focusing on something extremely important, and that is emotional intelligence in communication. Native speakers don't just speak correctly, they speak with awareness. They adjust their tone depending on the situation. They know when to sound enthusiastic, when to sound calm, and when to sound thoughtful. This ability makes speech feel natural and authentic. Imagine someone shares good news with you and says, I got promoted. Instead of responding with a simple good, try saying, That's fantastic news. You must be really proud of yourself. Repeat that slowly. That's fantastic news. You must be really proud of yourself. Notice how the second sentence adds emotion and connection. Now, imagine someone shares something difficult. Instead of saying, that's bad, try, I'm really sorry to hear that. That must have been tough. Repeat that sentence. I'm really sorry to hear that. That must have been tough. This kind of response shows empathy and sounds very natural. Let's work on expressing hesitation in a confident way. Instead of saying, I don't want to, try, I'm not entirely comfortable with that idea. Repeat that slowly. I'm not entirely comfortable with that idea. That sounds respectful and thoughtful. Now, let's practice explaining something clearly in a discussion. Instead of saying, that's not right, try, I think there might be a misunderstanding here. Repeat that sentence. I think there might be a misunderstanding here. This sounds calm and professional. Let's build your ability to describe responsibilities in greater detail. Instead of saying, I manage a team, try, I'm responsible for overseeing a small team and ensuring everything runs smoothly. Repeat that slowly. I'm responsible for overseeing a small team and ensuring everything runs smoothly. The phrase, ensuring everything runs smoothly, is very common in professional English. Now, imagine you are talking about personal growth. Instead of saying, I improved a lot, try, I've developed a much stronger sense of discipline over time. Repeat that sentence slowly. I've developed a much stronger sense of discipline over time. That sounds mature and advanced. Let's practice discussing time management. Instead of saying, I don't have time, try, I've been struggling to find enough time to balance everything. Repeat that sentence. I've been struggling to find enough time to balance everything. The phrase, balance everything, is very natural. Now, let's practice describing motivation in more depth. Instead of saying, I want to succeed, try, I'm driven by the desire to achieve long-term success. Repeat that sentence slowly. I'm driven by the desire to achieve long-term success. Feel the confidence in that structure. Let's move into expressing doubt constructively. Instead of saying, I don't think it will work, try, I'm not entirely convinced that this approach will work. Repeat that sentence slowly. I'm not entirely convinced that this approach will work. This sounds thoughtful rather than negative. Now, we are going to practice telling a longer story that shows emotional progression. Listen carefully. There was a time when I felt completely overwhelmed by the idea of speaking English in public. My heart would race, and I would hesitate before every sentence. However, I slowly realized that fear fades with practice. The more I pushed myself to speak, the more confident I became. Repeat slowly with me. Notice how it moves from fear to confidence. Let's strengthen your ability to summarize opinions. Instead of saying, it's important, try, at the end of the day, what really matters is consistency. Repeat that sentence slowly. At the end of the day, what really matters is consistency. That phrase is very common in natural speech. Now, let's practice expressing relief. Instead of saying, I'm happy it's done, try, I'm relieved that everything worked out in the end. Repeat that sentence slowly. I'm relieved that everything worked out in the end. The phrase worked out is very useful. Let's build your ability to give constructive feedback. Instead of saying, This is wrong. Try. You might want to consider adjusting this part. Repeat that sentence. You might want to consider adjusting this part. This sounds helpful rather than critical. Now, let's practice describing uncertainty about the future in a balanced way. Instead of saying, I don't know what will happen, try. It's hard to predict what the future holds, but I'm staying optimistic. Repeat that sentence slowly. It's hard to predict what the future holds, but I'm staying optimistic. That sounds calm and mature. Let's move into expressing personal values clearly. Instead of saying, I like honesty, try. I strongly believe in being honest and transparent in communication. Repeat that sentence. I strongly believe in being honest and transparent in communication. That sounds professional. Now, we are going to combine several advanced structures into one longer speaking exercise. Listen carefully. Over the years, I've come to understand that growth requires patience and persistence. There were moments when I doubted myself, but I refused to give up. Instead, I chose to focus on steady improvement and long-term progress. Repeat slowly with me. Feel how the ideas connect naturally. Let's practice reacting to someone's success again, but with more detail. Instead of saying, that's good, try. That's incredible progress. You've clearly put in a lot of effort. Repeat that sentence slowly. This kind of response sounds supportive and genuine. Now, let's strengthen your ability to express gratitude more deeply. Instead of saying, thanks for your support, try. I truly appreciate your support and encouragement throughout this journey. Repeat that sentence slowly. I truly appreciate your support and encouragement throughout this journey. The word throughout adds sophistication. Take a moment now to speak for 1 full minute about a moment when you felt proud of yourself. Use phrases like, there was a time when, at first, however, over time, and in the end. Connect your ideas smoothly. Focus on emotion and progression. Remember, fluency is not only about vocabulary, it is about clarity, emotional awareness, and confidence. The more you practice these complete, connected thoughts, the more naturally your English will flow. You are moving step by step towards sounding like a native English speaker. Now, let's move into an even more advanced level of fluency by focusing on how native speakers organize their thoughts when speaking for a longer period of time. One clear difference between intermediate and advanced speakers is structure. Advanced speakers naturally organize their ideas into beginning, development, and conclusion, even in casual conversations. This makes their speech sound clear and confident. Imagine someone asks you, "What's your biggest challenge right now?" Instead of giving a short answer like, "Time management," try expanding it in a structured way. You could say, "Right now, my biggest challenge is managing my time effectively. I have several responsibilities, and sometimes it feels overwhelming. However, I'm working on prioritizing my tasks more carefully." Repeat that slowly with me. Notice how it introduces the topic, explains the problem, and shows a solution. Now, let's practice giving explanations with clarity. Instead of saying, "I was tired, so I stopped," try saying, "I decided to take a break because I was feeling mentally exhausted and needed some time to recharge." Repeat that sentence slowly. I decided to take a break because I was feeling mentally exhausted and needed some time to recharge. The phrase recharge is very natural in English. Let's work on expressing determination in a more powerful way. Instead of saying, "I will try," try. I'm fully committed to improving my skills. Repeat that sentence slowly. I'm fully committed to improving my skills. That phrase shows seriousness and confidence. Now, so imagine someone asks about your long-term vision. Instead of saying, I want success, try, in the long term, I hope to build a career that aligns with my passions and values. Repeat that sentence slowly. Notice how it sounds thoughtful and intentional. Let's practice expressing contrast more smoothly. Instead of saying, it was hard but good, try. Although it was challenging, it turned out to be a rewarding experience. Repeat that sentence slowly. Although it was challenging, it turned out to be a rewarding experience. That structure sounds natural and mature. Now, let's focus on describing progress step by step. Instead of saying, I improved slowly, try. Little by little, I began to see noticeable improvement. Repeat that sentence. Little by little, I began to see noticeable improvement. That phrase, little by little, is very common in natural speech. Let's practice discussing mistakes in a positive way. Instead of saying, I made a mistake, try. I made a mistake, but it gave me an opportunity to learn and grow. Repeat that sentence slowly. That structure turns a negative into a positive. Now, we will practice speaking about daily life with richer vocabulary. Instead of saying, I was very busy today, try. Today was incredibly hectic, but I managed to stay on top of everything. Repeat that sentence slowly. Today was incredibly hectic, but I managed to stay on top of everything. The phrase stay on top of everything is very natural and useful. Let's strengthen your ability to give thoughtful opinions. Instead of saying, it's good for people, try. I believe it has a positive impact on people's lives in many ways. Repeat that sentence slowly. I believe it has a positive impact on people's lives in many ways. That sounds more analytical and fluent. Now, imagine you are describing a turning point in your life. Instead of saying, everything changed, try. That experience marked a turning point in my life. Repeat that sentence slowly. That experience marked a turning point in my life. This is a very strong and expressive phrase. Let's practice expressing confidence when speaking about yourself. Instead of saying, I think I can do it, try. I'm confident in my ability to handle the situation. Repeat that sentence slowly. Confidence in language builds confidence in life. Now, see, we are going to practice a longer connected exercise that includes reflection. Listen carefully. When I first began this journey, I underestimated how much effort it would require. There were moments when I questioned whether I was making enough progress. However, by staying consistent and patient, I gradually built the skills I needed. Repeat that slowly with me. Feel the progression from doubt to growth. Let's work on expressing appreciation in a more natural way. Instead of saying, I appreciate it, try. It truly means a lot to me. Repeat that sentence slowly. It truly means a lot to me. That phrase is very common and emotionally expressive. Now, imagine someone asks about your future plans. Instead of saying, I will continue, try. I plan to continue working on my goals and pushing myself beyond my limits. Repeat that sentence slowly. The phrase, pushing myself beyond my limits, sounds powerful. Let's practice responding to advice. Instead of saying, okay, try, that's a valuable piece of advice. I'll definitely keep that in mind. Repeat that sentence slowly. I'll definitely keep that in mind. That phrase is extremely useful in daily conversations. Now, we will practice a reflective speaking exercise. Over time, I've learned that success doesn't happen overnight. It requires discipline, persistence, and a willingness to step outside your comfort zone. Although setbacks are inevitable, see they are also part of the process. Repeat that slowly with me. Notice the balance and rhythm. Let's strengthen your ability to express excitement naturally. Instead of saying, I'm excited, try, I'm really looking forward to what's ahead. Repeat that sentence slowly. I'm really looking forward to what's ahead. That sounds natural and optimistic. Now, take 1 full minute to speak about your biggest dream. Use phrases like, in the long term. What motivates me is, although it won't be easy, little by little, and, at the end of the day, speak smoothly and connect your ideas logically. Every exercise you practice is training your mind to think in structured English. You are no longer speaking in isolated sentences. You are speaking in connected ideas. That is what advanced fluency truly looks like. Now, let's continue moving toward true advanced fluency by focusing on clarity, persuasion, and depth in your speech. Native speakers are not just clear, they are convincing. They know how to express their ideas in a way that sounds confident and structured. This is especially important when you are explaining something, sharing an opinion, or trying to motivate someone. Imagine someone asks you, why is improving your English important? A simple answer would be, because it helps. But an advanced, fluent answer would sound like this. Improving your English is important because it opens doors to better opportunities, stronger communication, and greater confidence in both personal and professional situations. Repeat that sentence slowly. Notice how the answer feels complete and persuasive. Now, let's practice expanding explanations. Instead of saying, it's useful, try, it's incredibly useful in today's globalized world, where communication plays a crucial role in success. Repeat that sentence slowly. The phrase, plays a crucial role, is very common in fluent English. Let's work on describing long-term effort. Instead of saying, I practice every day, try, I've been dedicating time every single day to improving my speaking skills. Repeat that slowly. I have been dedicating time every single day to improving my speaking skills. The word dedicating adds seriousness. Now, imagine you are giving advice to someone who feels discouraged. Instead of saying, "Shoo, don't quit, try," don't be discouraged by temporary setbacks. Keep going, and you'll eventually see progress. Repeat that sentence slowly. That structure sounds supportive and encouraging. Let's strengthen your ability to explain cause and effect clearly. Instead of saying, I practiced and improved, try, because I practiced consistently, I gradually improved my confidence. Repeat that sentence slowly. Notice how the cause and result are clearly connected. Now, let's focus on speaking with emotional strength. Instead of saying, I was proud, try, I felt an overwhelming sense of pride in what I had accomplished. Repeat that sentence slowly. The phrase, overwhelming sense of pride, sounds very expressive. Let's practice discussing growth in a reflective way. Instead of saying, I changed, try, over time, I developed a completely different mindset. Repeat that sentence slowly. The word mindset is powerful and common in advanced conversations. Now, imagine you are describing how you overcame fear. Instead of saying, I was scared but I tried, try. Even though I was afraid, I pushed myself to take that first step. Repeat that sentence slowly. That structure is inspiring and natural. Let's build your ability to give structured opinions. Instead of saying, it's good and bad, try. On one hand, it offers many advantages. On the other hand, it also comes with certain challenges. Repeat that sentence slowly. That structure makes your speech balanced and analytical. Now, let's practice summarizing experiences clearly. Instead of saying, it was a good experience, try. Overall, it was a meaningful experience that taught me valuable lessons. Repeat that sentence slowly. The word meaningful adds depth. Let's strengthen your ability to describe daily discipline. Instead of saying, I try every day, try. I make a conscious effort every day to improve, even when I don't feel motivated. Repeat that sentence slowly. Make a conscious effort is a strong and natural phrase. Now, we are going to practice a longer, line-connected fluency exercise. Listen carefully. There were moments when progress felt slow and discouraging. However, instead of giving up, I reminded myself why I started. By staying consistent and maintaining a positive attitude, I gradually built confidence and improved my skills. Repeat that slowly with me. Notice how the transition word, however, changes the direction of the thought. Let's work on expressing ambition in a confident way. Instead of saying, I want to be better, try. I strive to become the best version of myself. Repeat that sentence slowly. I strive to become the best version of myself. The word strive sounds advanced and determined. Now, imagine someone asks, say, how do you stay motivated? Instead of answering briefly, try saying, I stay motivated by setting clear goals and reminding myself of the bigger picture. Repeat that sentence slowly. The phrase, bigger picture, is very common in fluent English. Let's practice describing steady improvement. Instead of saying, I am improving, try. I'm making steady progress, even if it's small. Repeat that sentence slowly. That sounds realistic and confident. Now, we will combine many of these advanced expressions into one final longer speaking exercise. Listen carefully. At the beginning of my journey, I struggled with self-doubt and hesitation. I often questioned whether I was capable of reaching my goals. However, by staying disciplined and focusing on gradual improvement, I began to see real progress. Little by little, my confidence grew, and my ability to communicate improved significantly. Looking back, I'm grateful for every challenge because each one helped me become stronger. Repeat that full exercise slowly with me. Feel the emotional flow and structure. Now, take 1 full minute to speak about your personal journey in English. Use phrases like, at the beginning, there were moments when, however, little by little, looking back, and overall. Speak continuously and confidently. Don't stop. Let your ideas flow naturally. You are no longer just practicing sentences. You are building a voice in English, a voice that sounds structured, confident, and expressive. Every exercise you speak trains your mind to think in English automatically. That is what native-like fluency truly feels like. Now, let's complete this journey by strengthening the final layer of fluency, which is natural flow in extended conversation. At this level, that you are not just responding. You are leading conversations. You are expressing complex thoughts clearly. You are reacting smoothly. This is where your English starts to feel automatic. Let's begin by practicing how to express layered thoughts. Instead of saying, I like learning English, expand it into something deeper. Say, I enjoy learning English, not only because it improves my communication skills, but also because it broadens my perspective and connects me to the world. Repeat that sentence slowly. Notice how, not only, but also, creates a balanced and advanced structure. Now, let's practice expressing mixed emotions. Instead of saying, I was happy and nervous, try, I felt excited about the opportunity, yet slightly nervous about the responsibility. Repeat that sentence slowly. The word yet helps you connect contrasting emotions smoothly. Let's build your persuasive speaking ability. Imagine you are encouraging someone to practice daily. Instead of saying, practice every day, try. If you truly want to improve, consistency is absolutely essential. Repeat that sentence. The word essential makes your message stronger and more convincing. Now, let's practice describing gradual transformation. Instead of saying, I changed a lot, say, over time, I noticed a remarkable transformation in both my confidence and communication skills. Repeat that slowly. The word remarkable elevates your expression. Let's work on expressing calm confidence in uncertain situations. Instead of saying, I'm not sure, try, I'm not completely certain, but I'm willing to give it my best shot. Repeat that sentence slowly. The phrase, give it my best shot, sounds determined and natural. Now, let's practice structured explanation again. Imagine someone asks you how you improved your English. Instead of saying, I practiced, say, I improved by speaking consistently, expanding my vocabulary, and stepping outside my comfort zone. Repeat that sentence slowly. Notice how the list flows naturally without sounding robotic. Let's move into advanced reaction phrases. Repeat after me. That really puts things into perspective. Again. That really puts things into perspective. Now, try. I couldn't have said it better myself. Repeat that sentence. These are highly natural expressions used in daily English conversations. Now, let's practice describing resilience. Instead of saying, I didn't quit, try. Even when things felt overwhelming, I refused to give up. Repeat that sentence slowly. Feel the strength in that structure. Let's build a longer connected exercise that reflects true fluency. Listen carefully. There were times when progress seemed invisible and doubt started to creep in. I questioned whether my efforts were truly making a difference. However, instead of allowing negativity to take control, I chose to focus on small victories. Gradually, those small improvements added up, and my confidence grew stronger than ever. Repeat that slowly with me. Notice the emotional progression from doubt to strength. Now, let's practice describing clarity of purpose. Instead of saying, I know what I want, try, I have a clear vision of where I want to go and what I want to achieve. Repeat that sentence slowly. The phrase clear vision is powerful and commonly used. Let's strengthen your ability to speak about discipline. Instead of saying, I practice regularly, try, I hold myself accountable and stay committed to my daily practice. Repeat that sentence slowly. Hold myself accountable is a strong advanced phrase. Now, imagine you are advising someone who feels stuck. Instead of saying, try harder, say, focus on steady progress rather than immediate perfection. Repeat that sentence slowly. That structure sounds thoughtful and mature. Let's practice describing confidence in speaking. Instead of saying, now, I speak better, try, now, I can express my thoughts more clearly and confidently. Repeat that sentence slowly. Notice how it emphasizes clarity and confidence together. Now, we are going to practice a final extended fluency exercise that combines emotion, structure, persuasion, and reflection. Listen carefully. At the start of this journey, I often felt uncertain and hesitant. I struggled to find the right words and worried about making mistakes. However, through consistent effort and a willingness to step outside my comfort zone, I gradually built the confidence I once lacked. Each conversation became easier, each sentence flowed more naturally, and each challenge strengthened my resilience. Today, I don't strive for perfection. Instead, I focus on clear communication and steady improvement. That mindset shift has made all the difference. Repeat that slowly with me. Feel how natural and connected it sounds. Now, take a full minute to speak freely about how you feel right now about your English. Use phrases like, at the beginning, there were moments when, what truly helped me was, gradually, now, I feel, and moving forward. Connect your ideas without stopping. Speak as if you are sharing your real story. Remember that native-like fluency is not about speaking fast. It is about speaking clearly, confidently, and naturally. It is about thinking in ideas, not translating word by word. It is about expressing emotion, structure, and intention in every sentence. You have practiced introductions, daily routines, workplace communication, storytelling, persuasion, emotional intelligence, structured explanation, and reflective speaking. You have built vocabulary, natural phrases, transitions, and confidence. Most importantly, you have practiced speaking in full, connected thoughts. Every time you open your mouth and speak in English, you are reinforcing these patterns. Little by little, they become automatic. And when they become automatic, you begin to sound natural. That is how fluency is built. Keep practicing. Keep expanding your vocabulary. Keep speaking in complete thoughts. And most importantly, keep believing that improvement is possible. Because with consistent effort and steady practice, it absolutely is. Thank you so much for spending this time with me and practicing your English all the way until the end. The fact that you stayed here, listened carefully, repeated the sentences, and pushed yourself to speak means you are serious about improving. And that kind of dedication truly makes a difference. Remember, fluency doesn't happen overnight. It's built through consistent practice, so small improvements, and the courage to speak, even when you're not completely confident. Every sentence you repeat, every exercise you practice, and every conversation you attempt is a step forward. Don't underestimate your progress, even if it feels slow sometimes. If you found this lesson helpful, keep practicing these phrases out loud. Come back and repeat the exercises again. The more you expose yourself to natural structures and expressive vocabulary, the more automatic your English will become. And if you want to continue improving with me, make sure you stay connected so we can keep building your confidence and fluency together. I truly appreciate your time, your effort, and your commitment to learning. Keep believing in yourself, keep speaking with confidence, and I'll see you in the next lesson.